Imagine this. 40,000 years ago, you're walking through a forest in what is now Europe. The air is cold, the trees are dense, and in the distance, you see a figure. It's not quite like you. Broader shoulders, a heavier brow, a stockier body built for a brutal world. It's a Neanderthal. And here's the thing, they weren't monsters. They weren't stupid. They had fire, tools, art, and emotions. They buried their dead. They cared for their injured. They survived ice ages that would have killed most creatures on Earth. And then they vanished. For 300,000 years, Neanderthals dominated Europe and Asia. Then, within just a few thousand years of modern humans arriving, they were gone. So what actually happened to them? Did we kill them? Did we absorb them? Or did they simply fade out? The answer is stranger than you think. First, let's kill a myth. When most people picture a Neanderthal, they imagine a hunched, grunting caveman dragging a club. That image is wrong. And it comes from a single, misidentified skeleton found in 1908, a Neanderthal with severe arthritis, whose bent posture was mistaken for a permanent trait of the species. The reality? Neanderthals were intelligent, capable beings. They crafted complex tools, spear tips, scrapers, blades from stone. They controlled fire. They cooked food. They made jewelry from eagle talons and shells. Researchers have found evidence that they mixed pigments and painted their bodies and possibly cave walls. They also had larger brains than us. Slightly larger, in fact. They lived in family groups. They cared for their elderly and sick. We know this because we found Neanderthal skeletons with healed bones from severe injuries, meaning someone had to feed and protect them during recovery. These were not animals. These were people. And for hundreds of thousands of years, they thrived. So why did they disappear roughly 40,000 years ago, right when Homo sapiens showed up in Europe? Scientists have debated this for over a century. And today, most agree it wasn't one single cause. It was a perfect storm. Theory 1, we outcompeted them. Modern humans and Neanderthals wanted the same things: food, shelter, territory. And we were better at getting them. Not necessarily because we were smarter, but because we were more social. Homo sapiens had larger, more complex social networks. We traded tools and information across long distances. We cooperated in bigger groups. Neanderthals, by contrast, lived in small, isolated bands. Their social circles were tight. That worked for hundreds of thousands of years until a new species arrived that played the numbers game better. Think of it like two businesses competing in the same market. One has a local team of 10 experts. The other has a global network of thousands. The experts might be just as talented, but the network wins. Theory 2. Climate change. 40,000 years ago, Europe's climate was shifting rapidly. Cold snaps and warming periods cycling faster than species could adapt. Neanderthals had survived ice ages before, but this time they were already under pressure from human competition. Some researchers believe that climate disruption reduced their food sources and fragmented their already small populations into even smaller groups, making recovery impossible. Theory 3. Disease. This one is underappreciated. When modern humans migrated out of Africa, they may have carried diseases that Neanderthals had never been exposed to. No immunity, no resistance. We've seen this happen in recorded history. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, indigenous populations were devastated not just by warfare, but by smallpox, measles, and other diseases they had no biological defense against. The same thing may have happened 40,000 years ago. A slow, invisible epidemic moving ahead of the human migration. Theory 4. Interbreeding. Here's the one that changes everything. Neanderthals didn't just disappear. In some sense, they became us. In 2010, geneticists sequenced the Neanderthal genome for the first time. What they found was shocking. If you are of non-African descent, between 1% and 4% of your DNA is Neanderthal. Modern humans and Neanderthals didn't just coexist, they interbred. And some of that genetic material turned out to be incredibly useful. Certain immune system genes, fat metabolism traits, and even some adaptations to cold climates that Neanderthals had developed over thousands of years, we inherited them. So the question, why did Neanderthals disappear, might have the wrong framing. They didn't disappear, they were absorbed, diluted across a much larger population until the Neanderthal gene pool was reduced to a few scattered percentages across billions of people. The truth is probably all four theories at once. Modern humans arrived. We competed for the same resources, and our larger social networks gave us an edge. Climate shifts destabilized Neanderthal populations. Disease spread silently, and where our two species met, we sometimes merged. The result was a slow collapse, not a massacre. not an overnight extinction, a gradual erosion of population, of territory, of genetic identity over thousands of years. The last known Neanderthals survived in small pockets in southern Spain and Gibraltar, isolated at the edge of a continent long after the rest of their kind were gone. They held on until about 40,000 years ago. And then, the silence came. There's something deeply unsettling about this story. Neanderthals weren't inferior. They weren't failures. They were a successful species that survived some of the harshest conditions Earth has ever produced for 300,000 years. And they lost. Not in a single battle, not to a catastrophe, but slowly, quietly, to a combination of bad luck, competition, and the unstoppable spread of a species that happened to be slightly better at one thing: connecting with each other. And here's the part that should stay with you. Every time a Neanderthal population collapsed, the last person in that group to die took with them a language, a set of memories, a way of seeing the world that had never existed before and would never exist again. We don't know what they called themselves. We don't know what stories they told around the fire. We don't know what they believed happened after death. We just know they're gone. And somewhere in your DNA, in that 1 to 4%, there might be an echo of one of them. If you found this video interesting, subscribe. There's a lot more of human history that nobody talks about.